All right, welcome to the People's Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your new and improved host, Mike Rossi. I'm here today with Andrew Garganese, the real way to say it, and Joey G Money Janoffi. What's going on, guys?
Mikey, good job, buddy. That was our fifth try getting through that fucking intro. You finally got it.
I nailed it first try.
Doug who?
Doug, who needs Doug? Anyway, Doug's not with us tonight. He had some family plans, but we're going to go over our DraftKings lineups, some DFS, who we like, who we don't like. And that's it. Nice little short for you guys. So let's kick it off. Andy, who do you got at quarterback?
All right. At quarterback, Doug just texted us, so fucked up my whole thing. But I got Kirk Cousins going up against, he's at home against the Chargers. I think we all kind of assume this game's going to have some points put up. So I would imagine a lot of our lineups have a variation of players from this game. I'm starting off with Captain Kirk. He's 6,900.
Yeah, we were talking about it on the full show last night, that's like the Super Bowl of the week, you know, like that's the most points are going to come from that game right there. So, Joe, who do you got at quarterback?
Well, following suit, I took Justin Herbert and spent a little bit more money, but stuck with that same game. So I felt like it was worth spending the 7,500 on Herbert this week because Vikings just don't look like they can really stop people from scoring.
I think it's worth mentioning, too, that DraftKings gives a 3-point bonus when a quarterback throws for over 300 yards. So Cousins and Herbert both obviously have the potential to do this in this game. So it's worth it to spend up right there. I didn't do that. I kind of spent down a little bit, and I went to Sean Watson for, I know, it's ugly. It's ugly even to say out loud, but it's 6,100. He's going against a Titans defense that has led up 300 plus yards in weeks 1 and in weeks 2. So if they can do it again, and Deshaun adds some, rushing capital, obviously, it's his time to shine. Hopefully, that's the thought behind it. So, Andy,
yeah, no Chubb to lean on. So, all right, RB1. We doing both running backs, right? Or just one?
Yeah, both running backs.
Yeah, go both.
All right. RB1, I'm taking Algier. He's 5,100. They're in Detroit. So dome game, nothing to worry about weather-wise. And Detroit, not a great defense. They get after the quarterback more than they can stop the run. I feel like Atlanta's just going to keep pounding the ball. Running back 2 for me is going to be Kenneth Walker. He's at home versus a weak Carolina rush D. 6,200. Feel like that's a pretty solid matchup for him.
I mean, I love Kenneth Walker. Everyone knows that already. That's my boy. I don't have him in my lineup, but I was kind of sad not having him in this week. Joe, who are your 2 running backs?
Well, just to talk on that real quick, I have Walker as a guy I like, but I didn't get him in my lineup because it didn't work out with the pricing for some of the other guys I wanted to make sure I had. But my first one, I spent a little bit here too, and I went Tony Pollard for 8,000. I just think Dallas against Arizona is going to try to run the ball, control the game. I just think it's a really sweet matchup for Pollard, even to catch opportunities and scoring. Second running back, I like the matchup against the weak defense in my eyes. I like Gus Edwards again. I think Edwards did the most with the carries he got, and I think he's got to get more after that last game. He had a higher yards per carry than Justice Hill, and he had the touchdowns last week. So I think he's a good opportunity at 5,300.
And Joe, I think this is news that you didn't know yet, but it's going to help your argument even more. Justice Hill is ruled out for the week, so it'll be Gus Edwards and Melvin Gordon maybe. So
it'll be Gus Edwards and Gus Edwards.
Yeah, you don't want to put Melvin Gordon in there, possibly turn the ball over with his fumbles that he has. So I like it even more. Thanks, Mike.
No problem. So my 2 running backs, I got Travis Etienne at 6,900. I think they're going against Houston. Everybody knows the formula to beat Houston. It's get up big early and then just run the clock out. So I think he's involved in the passing game when they are getting that big lead, and then he's going to be the guy that continues the lead. So that's my 6,900. And then I felt like I had to get this guy in my lineup this week. Jahmyr Gibbs, 6,600. Obviously, DraftKings is a PPR league, so those catches really matter. With Demont being hurt, he has a bigger role probably this week, and I think they will have the lead. So I'm taking the chance that Jameer gets a little more time in that backfield.
Yeah, I
All
think Jameer's a safe. I think Jameer's a safe pick, and then I really like Travis Etienne's matchup. Again, it was pricing wise with the other guys I wanted, but I think those are two solid picks.
Andy, who are your three
All
wide
right.
receivers?
So going with a little Captain Kirk stack, I took Jordan Addison, 5,500. Don't need to talk about that game anymore. Tank Dell is my, every week you got to kind of have one guy that comes in bottoming out to help the lineup that you think is going to pop off. So Tank Dell is $3,600 at Jacksonville. He's playing, I think I read 72% of the snaps on offense last week. That's a good thing. I think he got 10 targets. So I'm just looking for that production again. And then to round out, I'm going Michael Pittman, 6,200. Minshew in. You figure, he played well with with Richardson. I think he'll play well with Minshew. I think he's fine. His target and everything, target share, everything should stay the same. So
I love Tank Dell. I didn't even see him when I was going through because he's obviously 3,600, but he has an opportunity to get, 5, 6, even like 7 catches in this game. They're going to be behind and they're going to be forced to pass the ball again. So I think that's a steal at 3,600.
CJ doesn't, I didn't think he was going to be very good, but he doesn't look bad. He looks like he can throw the rock. So that helps.
He looks accurate. All right, Joe, who are your receivers?
All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I used 2 of the same from last week because I think they're just gonna keep going. I did my stack with my quarterback, and I spent the money on Keenan Allen for 7,600. Obviously, we all saw what he did last week, and I think he's got a softer matchup against Minnesota, as we already talked about. Keenan 7,600. I think I said that already. Nico, again, had a good week last week. I think they're going to get down early to Jacksonville, like you said. So I think they're going to have to throw. And I like him at 5,300. And then the fight back receiver, I took KJ Osborne. I don't still love Addison. I don't know why. I like KJ Osborne. He got a touchdown last week. I think he can increase those numbers again this week, again in a shootout against the Chargers.
I'm kind of surprised with Nico's line there. Last week he was 4,800 and he put up 30 points. You would think he would be a little more than 5,300 after going off, especially with this matchup, right?
Yeah, so that's why I loved it, and I couldn't say no to him and Allen again.
I like it. All right, my wide receivers. This is where I spent my money on this top guy. I went Tyreek Hill. Waddle's banged up. And I just think that this is his day. I don't care if it's Surtain. No one can. When it comes to Tyreek Hill, he's kind of matchup proof because he's just faster than everybody, and they usually have to play like a zone defense to even try to contain him. So I think he's matchup proof, and this is going to be another Tyreek game. My wide receiver, I went with my boy, my league winner, Elijah Moore, because he's been getting the targets that me and Andy bet against, right? He just has to start doing something with them. So if this is the week I'm predicting Deshaun Watson to go off, then I gotta have my boy in there too at 4,700. Oh, and I don't think I said it. Tyreek was 9,000. And then my flyer at wide receiver is Rashad Bateman. I said it yesterday. OBJ is banged up. I just have a gut feeling that this is the week that Rashad Bateman comes out and has that bomb touchdown. Maybe it's only 3-4 catches, but he'll get over 100 yards with one of those. Well, obviously more than one of those, but he'll get over 100 yards if he has that bomb catch.
Yeah, right. He's got a good matchup against Indy, and you got to think people got to start covering Zay and give more attention to Zay after what he's been doing.
Yeah, my only worry, I know Zay's gonna get his, but last week when OBJ went down, it was Aguilar that was getting the targets.
Yeah, that was surprising.
So I'm hoping Bateman just has that bomb. It's a flyer. It's DK. You got to do that, right?
Yep.
Andy,
Drop
your phone and then tell us your tight end.
why my AirPods don't work. I always drop this thing. Tight ends, Mark Andrews. I'm not gonna explain that anymore. He's
Wow.
fucking Mark Andrews.
Isn't he cheap this week? Well, cheaper than usual.
Hey, $6,000
It's not bad.
going up against Indy, who's, I mean, they've looked better than we think they are, right? So, give me Mark Andrews.
I like it. This is the week where I do like it because he's I think TJ Hawkinson was even more expensive than him. So I'll take him as a
TJ
third
65.
best. Yeah. All right, Joe, who do you got?
So Andy might like this one, but I got Dalton Kincaid at 3,400. I know Knox practiced in full today, but back injuries, man, any little thing can trigger that off. Dalton's obviously been getting snaps, and I could see Knox not playing this whole game, and I think he's going to get a lot more targets, and this could be his breakout game against Washington.
Andy, what do you think of that?
He was 3,400. I'm sorry.
Obviously I love it, but the Dawson Knox thing to me still just doesn't affect Kincaid in any really way, shape, or form. Like, I think if they run one tight end sets, he's going to be asked to block more than he is to go out. And if they run their usual 12 personnel where he's in, he'll slide out to where he usually is anyway. So the Knox thing doesn't move the needle too much for me, but I mean, he's trending in the right direction every week. He's a little bit more snaps, a couple more targets. Love it.
The only thing that worries me about Kincaid is that Allen gets in the red zone and he's still just looking Knox way every single chance he gets. That's his red zone target. I mean, he had a touchdown last week, and I think there was a few other times where he tried giving him a touchdown in the end zone. So I'm a touchdown in the red zone. So that's what scares me a little bit, but Kincaid has the potential. My tight end, I went Taysom Hill. He's 3,300. Last week they used him at running back, and I know they have Kendry Miller back this week, him and Tony Jones, but it's Kendry Miller's first game, and Tony Jones is Tony Jones. So I think Taysom Hill still has that, and I'm stealing all this from Doug for the record. Doug said all this yesterday because it was his sleeper of the week, but he convinced me. He has that triple threat where he can catch the ball, obviously pass the ball, and rush out of the backfield. For 3,300, I'm taking the flyer at tight end.
We all know
All
Doug's track record, though.
Yeah. I should have thought that first. All right, Andy, who's your flex?
Keenan Allen. Going back to this game, I'm going back to. I mean, how can you not want him? He's 7,600, which is kind of a lot, but he's just a man on a high-powered offense. He's gonna produce, especially in this game. So happy with that.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, it's Keenan Allen. He's been producing, and it's the matchup of the week. So gotta love that pick. All right, Joe.
So I went with last week's champ. I went with Brian Robinson Jr. against Buffalo. I think they're gonna try to keep time of possession in this game. They don't want Buffalo's offense on the field. Obviously, in the first two games, he's had the majority of carries, and they've run the ball effectively. I know Andy's going to hate this pick, but I mean, again, I think it's matchup related, and then I like it, and I like how he's been playing.
Yeah, when you look at,
God, I keep forgetting my prices.
When you look at what the Commanders have to do, just as like a strategy standpoint, you have to keep Josh Allen off the field, right? So how do you do that? Give the ball to Brian Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
My flex play, Joe, you had last week's champ. You guys, go ahead, Andy. What? Come on. What do you? Not touching it. Not touching it.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna let my bias come through here. Fuck you, Joe. All right.
There it is. Yeah, we got it out of him. Do you feel better now, Andy?
No, I'm just kidding.
So we got Joe. You got the last week's champ. I got last week's chump in my lineup. I got Joshua Kelly. He's 5,400. Again, this is a matchup that we want pieces of, and I mean, he can't come out and do 3.8 points again, right? Like he's got to have a better week against this rush defense that, I mean, the Eagles just destroyed. Obviously, different team, but they just had over 200 yards rushing.
He
So
always finds a way.
if
You always
if
find a way to bring the Eagles in.
if Kelly gets half of that, I'm happy. If he gets 100 yards, I'm happy. So 5,400, I'll take the chance. Andy, who's your defense?
Oh, I got the Bills going up against Washington.
That's why.
Wow.
That's why I was saving it. You saved it.
So, yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, they absolutely smashed Josh Jacobs last week. Sam Howell is looked good so far, but he hasn't really played anybody. And without Von Miller, the Bills have been getting after the quarterback. Ed Oliver's looked good. Rousseau's looked good. Leonard Floyd's a little banged up, but he's looked good. So I think they could probably just come out and just fucking stifle this offense, and I'm pretty excited for it.
Joe, what do you got?
All right. I made a last minute switch because I had a tiny bit of money left, so I went with a little bit higher cost defense. I went 3,100 on the Packers defense against New Orleans. Obviously, we didn't see them put up a ton of points against Carolina this past week. I like Green Bay's defense. I think they can get some pressure. I like Alexander up against Olave to shut him down. And let's see if Michael Thomas can have a big game or not.
I don't know about shutting Olave down. Is that possible at this point?
I mean,
He's got to get his targets. He's got to get them.
I get it, but Alexander, man, I don't want to see anybody against him.
I'll give you. I
Guy is
think Jair's the best man corner in the game right now, but I don't know. That's
All right, my defense. I spent up more than both of you because I had some extra money here. I went Lions D against Atlanta. They were 3,400. I just love Hutchinson. The guy just hustles. He's looked great this year so far, and I don't think Ritter really knows what to do under pressure yet. So I think it's going to cause some turnovers. And I think they're going to have themselves a little game. Maybe a defensive touchdown is the hopes of spending up a little bit. But 3,400's not too high, so it's middle of the road.
Yeah, Lions last week. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if you thought about Kyle Pitts at all this week. Putting him in
I had Kyle Pitts in this lineup.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on him. Okay. But Taysom Hill was 600 cheaper, and I think he has a bigger opportunity. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Pitts comes out and scores his first touchdown of the year.
Are you gonna guarantee this every week until you get it right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the guys that we're.
Oh wait, I was just gonna say Lions last week played against Seattle, had 2 backup tackles, and they only had 1 sack. So I don't have faith in the Lions defense.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see, Joe.
I don't have values for Doug's picks, but they came through. Well, this is Doug's team right here. He's got Justin Fields. He's going with Alexander Madison.
Of course.
Josh Kelly, Gabe Davis, DJ Moore. He's consistent. If nothing else.
Guy's consistent.
Josh Reynolds, Evan Ingram, Tony Pollard, Seahawks D. So
maybe I should take Tony Pollard out of my lineup.
So hold on. Yeah, he's got the Fields DJ Moore stack. Madison and Kelly. Gabe Davis, great pick. Josh Reynolds, Ingram, Pollard, Seahawks.
All across the board, just like this. All right, guys. Unfortunately, without Doug here, we lost the Zoom Pro. So we got 6 minutes left before this recording stops and this meeting ends. So let's get through let's get through the people we're staying away from. Who do you think's too high priced, or just another value that you couldn't get into your lineup? Andy, go ahead.
All right. So we try to do one per position. I don't totally dislike any of these guys that I'm going to say. So this is mostly just a money thing. Dak 6,600. Joe touched on earlier. I think the Cowboys kind of run away with this one. I think it's early and often they just beat the shit out of the Cardinals. So I don't expect him to do much, possibly even get benched. Running back, David Montgomery's a little bit banged up, and Atlanta's run D's look solid, 5,900. I'd spend up to $600, $700 more, whatever $400 is for Jameer. Wide receiver, I took Justin Jefferson, and obviously that's the matchup everybody's looking for. But I think that plays into it. A lot of people are going to have JJ in their lineups, and he's 9,300, which is just an obnoxious amount. Tight end Njoku, he's 4,200. He's getting like 4 targets a game. I think there's people less. I think all of us have tight ends that are less money than he is. And then Dallas D is 4,400, and that's just no Trayvon, and who spends that money on a defense? So
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean,
that's my stay away.
the value of like that's like $1,000, maybe $1,500 that you could save on a defense and just go get another stud in your lineup. I never spend up like that on defense.
Crazy.
All right, Joe. Who are your people you're staying away from, or some other value picks that you couldn't fit into your lineup?
So quarterback, staying away from Justin Fields at 7,100. Don't like that against a better
He's gonna
defense,
take-
I believe.
he's
in.
gonna
Running
take all
back
the guys
Alexander Madison.
Yeah, Josh Kelly, I don't
No,
really like DJ Moore, get him out of here.
Running back, I like this running back, but didn't get him in my lineup. I like Roshan Johnson this week. Fields can't throw downfield, and they're going to play keep away, I think. Wide receiver, I like Cortland Sutton at 5,100 because I think they need a bounce back against Miami, and I'd rather spend the 51 on Sutton than spend the 1,400 more on Judy. Tight end, I would stay away from Cole Kmet at 4,300. I think he's going to have to stay in and block more again. This goes with how I just don't like Fields anymore. And then my defense stay away was the Lions because I think that Atlanta's offense has a lot of potential. And then CJ Gardner-Johnson's out for Detroit.
Joe, did you just make up those keepaways while we were
No,
talking our
swear to
lineups?
God, they're
No, you
on
didn't?
my, I haven't
I don't
worked
like
my
you.
I swear to God.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool.
I will say to help make Doug smile, I like Hunter Henry at 4,100 against the Jets. Jets allow big plays to the tight end.
All right. I didn't do one for every position. I have 3 people to keep away from. I put Trevor Lawrence on my list at 6,800. Same reason as I said before. I think they're going to be up big. Then he's not going to be needed. This is more of an ETN game, and even Tank Bigsby if it gets out of hand. And the same aspect, Christian Kirk. 50. I know he's 5,400. He's not that expensive, but he had 11 catches last week, so people are going to want him in their lineups. I don't think this is the week to do it. And then my third one is James Conner. He's 6,300 going against the Cowboys defense. He's only going to be able to rush the ball like they want him to in the first quarter. Then they'll be down 28 and he's useless. So keeping away from all 3 of those guys.
Good job,
Thumbs
Mike.
up from Andy.
Did great, Mike.
I did it,
job.
guys.
You
got
hosted
through
the
it.
show.
I'm proud of you. Proud of you, for
Woo!
hosting, man.
With 2 minutes left. All right, boys. For Andy, Joey, I'm Mike. See you next week.
See you, fellas.